Here today, Quaid I Azam University, in collaboration with Pakistan Fisheries Society, is organizing the Fishery Days with the Zoological Department of Quaid I Azam University. 21 November is International Day for Fishery Days, and today Quaid I Azam University is going to organize an international symposium in collaboration with the Zoology Department of Quaid I Azam University, Pakistan Fisheries Societies and IUCN. Here you see the number of the excellent audience, a number of the excellent speakers, invited speakers who highlight the importance of the fish diversity, conservation of the fish diversity.
Chancellor of Quaid I Azam University, member of the Managing Committee class 2021.
Thank you so much for inviting me. So I gave you just a few glimpses of the joint venture of the zoology and botany, how zoology and botany work together and how we can move toward the industrial development, because now the research is going from impact to the impact factor to the impacts. What is the outcome of this joint venture for the industrial product commercialization, entrepreneurship? So this is a good example between the botanist and the zoologist, and how the botanist and zoologist make this value is a very clear. What are the natural and active ingredients that are present in those animals or plants, and then can move toward the drug discovery, that is the industrial products that are used for the number of the health. Another good example is the botany and zoology. We have started a project on the male contraceptive, that is the medicinal plants that are used to control the populations. So we have identified a number of the medicinal plants, then they are tested on monkeys, then the test is on the animals that are used to control the population. So this is another important paper we have published with the botany and zoology, that is to the the plants that are used for the population control. Another study published in 2020 about the joint venture of the botany and zoology, that the medicinal plants that are used as the male contraceptives that are used for the population control. For example, Apis pectoris, Chenopodium, and a number of the medicinal plants that are found in Pakistan that can easily use. How these medicinal plants are moved toward the drug discovery, and these natural drugs are used to control the population. Just I shows you the glimpses of the joint venture of botany and zoology. This is the plant we have identified from Pakistan and China that is used for the epilepsy. Another important area is veterinary medicine. That is the medicinal plant that they are used to treat the number of livestock diseases. One of my PhD students completed a PhD on the livestock disease treatment. This book is published by the Springer about the herbals of Asia, that these medicinal plants are used for the livestock as well as for human. Another important area of the joint venture of botany zoology, that we are use the waste of bones that they are used as a nano catalyst for the conversion of the crude oil into biofuel. So bioenergy is another important joint venture of the botany and so on. The byproduct of the biofuel is the oil cake, that is one of the best food for the livestock. So this is the study that has used the bones as a nano catalyst for the conversion of the crude oil to biofuel. There are a few studies that are published in 2021 from Botany and Zoology joint venture. As you are familiar that Pakistan is basically a great country with respect to the geography with respect to the phytogeography, zoogeography, that's a wild diversity of the plants, animals, livestock that are occupied in this beautiful country. That it is a center of biodiversity, not a center of biodiversity, a center of biological diversity that is joint animals, livestock, and plants. There are about 6,000 plants identified that are used by the livestock, that are used for the food, that are used for the energy, that are used for the health benefits. If we save this biodiversity, actually we are going to save our lives. So the saving or the protection of the biological diversity in order to save our lives. We are facing a lot of problems in climate changes, invasiveness, and a number of the other environmental issues. So these can be addressed by making the indigenous species to our environment, our geography, and our. If we save our biological diversity, we are actually save our environment. We are actually save our geography. So by keeping in mind that the biological diversity, to conserve this, to protect this for the coming generations. When we are going to protect the habitat, we easily protect the lives of the livestock. because our livestock, our wildlife, our animals depends upon the forest, depends upon the plants for their food. So by protecting the habitat, actually we are protecting our animal biodiversity. Just a few examples of our beautiful country. This is a Devsai Plateau that is up to 20,000 feet. So this is one of the important regions in the world with beautiful pheasants, with beautiful wildlife, snow leopards, snow bears, ibex, and number of other animals that are occupying this beautiful area. So this area at the same time occupy beautiful plants that are used for the food, medicine, non-timber forest products. So this is a excellent example with the rich biological diversity of this Devsai Plateau in Pakistan. We have published a study from this Devsai Plateau that's a rich diversity of the livestock, rich diversity of the animals and the plant diversity. So this paper is basically confined to the medicinal plants that are actually used by the local communities or the communities occupying this area. They treat a number of the diseases. That is the hypertension, blood pressures, hepatitis, cancers, and number of other diseases that are treated by using these medicinal plants, because we are focusing on the bottom-up approach. That is the ethnopharmacology leads toward the biological screening of the natural compounds, and then natural compounds and then move toward the industry by drug discovery. Suburban region is also one of the important hotspots with biological diversity of the snow leopards, snow bears, markhor, oreal. So this is another important area with respect to the biological diversity of the animals, as well as Garam Cheshma. This is another important area with respect to the medicinal plant that are used by the local communities for the treatment of a number of the diseases. So this study is published in 2021, how the medicinal plants are used by the local community, and then they are tested to the animals or the livestock, and then they move toward the livestock diseases, that is the ethno-veterinary medicine by the local communities of this area. Another important area that we are also hosted the glaciers. We have a rich diversity of the glaciers, so this is another important area with respect to biological diversity in Pakistan. Move toward the plain area, the moist temperate areas of Pakistan, so we are also hosted a number of the animals that are endemic to this area. So this area is another important area. It's a joint venture that these animals depend upon the plants for their habitat, for their food, and for their disease trees. We have published another study about the joint venture of the botany and zoology, that these wild animals, they use the plants from the field, they use these plants for the food, they use these plants for their self-treatment by like the ethno-veterinary practices by the local medicinal plant by those animals that are invited in this area. When we move toward the plain area of Punjab, Punjab is also another important area with respect to the salt range area, because this area is another important area with a unique biological diversity. That is the home of oreal, number of other birds that are occupying these forests. So this area is also important habitat for wildlife, wildlife, animals, birds, and number of other species. In 2020, we have published a study that how these wild animals depend upon the plants in this area. So this study is basically confined to the plants that are used by the livestock animals in the salt range areas of Punjab. When we move toward the deserts of Pakistan, Pakistan is also another important area with respect to the diversity of the desert. That is the Tharparkar, Thal, Kushab. So this area is another important area for a unique bird, for the unique endemic birds and this area. So this area is also one of the important area with rich floral and fauna diversity. We have contributed some chapter from plants, human health from Pakistan in this area, how the deserts of desert communities, they use the medicinal plant, they use the animals, the wild animals are also used for the number of the treatment, that is called as ethnozoology, not ethnobotany. That is also another important area for the researcher of the zoology, that the ethnozoology is the treatment of the diseases by using the local animals, livestock, and number of birds. Next, please. When we move toward the Balochistan, Balochistan is also another important area with respect to the richest, sacred richest forest in the world, that is the junipers. Junipers also provide the habitat to number of the birds, number of the animals and livestock that are endemic to Balochistan. Balochistan is considered to be the richest with respect to endemic diversity of the faunal and floral diversity. We have published a study from the junipers forest of Balochistan, that how the animals, how the human beings, they get the food, they get the medicine by using the plants of this area. Here you see this is a beautiful Ayubia National Park. Ayubia National Park is also protected hotspot in the country. that provide the habitat to number of the livestock, number of the animals, birds that are occupied this area. So these are the important animals or the wildlife that are occupied in these hotspot areas that have a strong relationship between the plants and animals. Another important use of the plant diversity by the local animals, livestock is the use of the non-timber forest product. That is the honey, that is the gums, that is the resin, that are the wild fruits, wild vegetables that are used by the human being as well as used by the local livestock and the animals that are occupying these areas. There are basically 4 steps to identify these plants for the study for the human being, study for the livestock or animal. First step is to survey the field, to identify the flora and fauna in the field by using the biological techniques. Another important step is the preservation of these plants, either for the isolation of the natural compound, for the drug discovery, either for malaria, either for cancer, or liver, or heart problems. We have initially initiated a project with the joint venture of Mevlana exchange program with Pakistan and Turkey to identify the insects, to identify the honeybee, how these honeybee convert the pollen nectars to the honey, which is one of the important food ingredients. So in this study we have to identify the genuineness of the honey, how the honey can be identified based on the phytochemical screening, based on biological screening. So this is another important joint venture of honeybee and plants. So this is another important good example of botany and zoology. In 2021 we have published a study of joint venture of plant sciences and the zoology, that how the zoologist helps to identify these honeybee and what is the behavior of the honeybee to collect the nectar and pollens to produce quality honey from these plant resources. Another important area of the health security by using the biological resources. These are the important diseases that Pakistan is facing nowadays. That is the COVID, that is the hypertension, cancer, heart problems, and number of other diseases that can be treated by joint venture of ethnozoology and ethnobiology and ethnobotany. We have published a study on anti-mastitis, that is the infectious disease in the livestock by using the medicine plant. So this study is a joint venture between Pakistan and the Chinese Academy of Sciences. What are the medicine plants that are used for the infectious diseases among the livestock and the animals? Another important area is the musculoskeletal disorders. That is also another important human disease that is also treated by using the medicine plant. One of my students also doing a work on the prevalent diseases among the humans in the local communities of Pakistan and how these medicine plants and the livestock that can be used for the health benefits. Another important area of the skin problems, because the skin also one of the important organ in human beings. That is, we have also used a number of medicine plants that are used for the skin cancer and skin diseases. So this study is about, we have basically the bottom-up approach, that is the ethnopharmacology, that is a joint venture of the zoology and botany, that is the ethnozoology and ethnobotany, that is the basic knowledge about the plants and animals that are used for the health problems, and then they move toward the chemical screening. Here I can conclude this joint venture that botany zoology are the interdisciplinary sciences, so they make a joint venture for the successful story. So this is a successful story between the botanist and the zoologist. I am very thankful to the organizer for wonderful force and place. Thank you so much.
Wonderful examples from zoology and the botany.